Hey, everybody. Hope you're doing great. Getting ready to record this week's podcast Wednesdays and Fridays. Just waiting for Pam and Ricky to join me here in just 1 second, and we'll get going. So hopefully, I hope everybody is having a great Tuesday, but doesn't it feel like a Monday? It's kind of crazy. So we are here. Hopefully you are doing well. It is hot here in St. Louis, smoking hot. Heat index is 100. And we're going to do an Is This Romantic question like it's February. What's up, Joss? Miss seeing you guys. Hey, Terry. It's the Magic for Less team meeting today. Hey, Alan. Hey, Nancy. I bet it's hot down in Dallas. Alan, where are you from? I forget. Pennsylvania, I think. Hey, Rhonda. Hey, Jennifer. Beans. Check it out. Penguin shirt. I'm ready for the next get together. Hey, Barbara. Todd, you were killing me with the food. We got to do a show right away with all the stuff you ate. Hey, Michelle. Hope you're doing all right now that Sam's in college. Oh my gosh, her dorm looked awesome. HOT hot down in Dallas. That's right. Hey, Chad. Love that everybody's in here today. Oh, Marietta. Used to speed skate at Sparkles Roller Rink in Marietta and stayed at that Marriott right there in 75. Yeah, this shirt's going to be big time trouble. It's even got my name on the back. Look. Can't wait to wear it with everybody. Hey, there's Pam. Let's get Pam in. She's got the fancy background. I have the junky background. She's got the fancy background, people. I have the junky one. Oh, we got
this can't be wrong.
Huh?
This is not the right camera. I'm going back out, so I'll be back in a minute.
We'll be back, everybody. Okay, she's gone. Too many cameras. I only have one, so there we go. Hey, Jackie. Hey, Amber. I got a squeaky chair. I got to put some oil on this thing. Ding, ding. Oh, here she comes. Oh, yeah, that's dead on. Here we go. This one is dead on. There you go. Hydrate. No. Hydrate.
I do the fancy background.
No, so I bought the fancy background, but I just can't figure out how to get it set up in the room.
Well, you're not supposed to actually say it's a background.
Oh, no, it's a wall. It's a wall.
Yeah, I'm sitting here at my perfectly coiffed, I don't know, rustic paneled background.
Cabin. Hey, it's good to have you back. Hey, can you point your camera down just a smidge so you're above the lower third there?
Uh-huh.
Otherwise, you're like eating Richard's words there. There you go. Perfect. Oh, so how's it? I mean, if Ricky joins us, this will be the first time three of us have talked like together.
I know. It's been a long time.
It's been a minute, as the kids say.
A minute. It has been a minute. It's been so long I have on glasses instead of my typical contacts because it's a Tuesday instead of a Monday, and that's thrown me for a loop.
Every email I was like, happy Monday. Well, wait, what? Happy Tuesday that feels like a Monday.
It does feel like a Monday.
Wait, Richard's 30? How's that? Welcome to the club, buddy.
I know, Richard. I loved the things that your wife said about you for 40 days. That's commitment. The countdown to your 40th. Well, she came up with something every day to write about you, and it was so sweet.
Dude, I wish my wife would do that. She would.
It was awesome, though. Really, really nice.
You apparently still didn't get a shake at Sonic for half price, though. Last night I saw that, or yesterday. Hey, Pam. Boom.
Oh,
I know that I shouldn't be wearing it today, but I don't know when we're going to be together soon, so I had to wear it.
That's too funny.
Just for the record, the heat index is 100. I went outside to walk, and this thing is hot because it's black.
So what did Scotty put on the back of your name? Ramen?
Ramen 21. That's my old high school number.
I just want to say that the Mario shirt did come out at some point during the summer, and it should not have. It was trouble.
Mario Lemieux.
No, it was fine. It was it is that odd things happen when the Mario shirt
I'm
comes out.
saying, I'm hoping, man. This is like going to be the most peaceful. I hope this is the most peaceful this jersey ever is. This shirt. It's not a
Probably
sweater. It's just a t-shirt.
because Forrester's not wearing it. There's no tequila involved.
This will be on the podcast.
I'm going to stay in my cabin that day.
If this shirt does not get packed, we will turn the ship around. I left the penguin shirt on the line in the basement. Hey, Sandra's at Food and Wine, and Todd's leaving MCO right now. Man, did you see Todd's pictures on Instagram? Chef Todd from all the stuff.
I've seen some of them. I have not kept up with my Instagram like I should have lately, but yum.
He'd be starving. Every time I looked at him, I'm like, oh my God. He must have taken a picture of every item from every booth.
I love that he does that, though.
They look like perfect.
I know. I'm scrolling through right now, Todd.
The stuff like the food is like smiling at you. Like come to Epcot.
I know. And his daughter is adorbs. She is so cute.
The best picture of that trip was when he took her picture in front of the Elmer's glue bottle at Slinky Dog because she's into the thing. And I can relate because that's all it's all about.
Yeah, his food looks fantastic.
Oh gosh, you can't look at that right now because it's dinner time. Like, forget it. I'm having Taco Bell, and that's as good as it's getting tonight. So
it's looking good, Todd.
Oh my gosh, check it out. Joanne's checking in from Rome.
Joanne, did you get my restaurant recommendation, Joanne? That's the beauty of it. Like that
sketch, but I bet it's a good restaurant. The way you're like, go down the street, go to the
You do go down the street across the bridge, and it's kind of in a lower level too. And the guy who runs it was there speaking with us. And he may have had things to drink, I will just say.
Do that in St. Louis. You take those exact words you said to get to a restaurant, you get murdered. I'm just saying.
No, but this had the best pistachio sauce on a pasta. Oh my gosh, it was so good. So anyways, really, it was one of those great memories. You know how when you go somewhere, you have good memories.
Nope.
Well, this was
Can't
a good
see
memory.
you guys.
We can see you.
See you.
Nope. Can't see you. So guess I'm coming back.
All right. Well, she's kind of in a mood today, people. Sorry about that. Yeah, Donna, that was your daughter being moody right there. Offspring. Well, can't see ya.
She can't see us.
Oh my gosh. I wonder so Joanne, what's the weather like over there?
Hot.
I bet it is.
Yeah.
But there should be a sea breeze, right? Or something. At least you're closer to the ocean than I am, or water.
Well, no, not. I mean,
I'm landlocked. So are you. At least you got a big.
We have the three rivers.
We have three, and we have the Mississippi. I'm right on the Missouri River, about a mile away, but I mean, it's not really a sea breeze off the old Mo. Is Ricky here?
I am.
Right, do you want to apologize to the class for how snotty you came in that first time and you couldn't see us? Come on.
No, I couldn't see you.
Okay, well, whatever. Oh my gosh, high 70s. I would kill for high 70s right now. Joanne's checking in from Rome.
That's nice. That's nice.
Oh my Lord.
I wish I was in Rome.
Sonia says, thanks for keeping me company and distracted on my long runs. She's doing.
Hey, Pam, thanks for the bronchitis.
Oh, you got the Bucharest.
I didn't even see you.
That was the thing that made me so mad. I was like, I didn't even see Pam and I got bronchitis.
Did you go to the doctor already?
I did.
You have to get started on something like quick. That's what made me able to bounce back.
I actually ended up in the ER on Saturday night.
Oh, well, I went earlier than you did.
Well, I was having difficulty breathing, and it was causing my heart to race. So, needless to say, I was like, let's just go to the emergency room. So,
Yep.
I got a breathing treatment and an IV for dehydration. Woohoo!
I know. I have like 3 inhalers that I'm still doing
I have
on the
one
daily.
inhaler.
I'm like,
I
I
have
feel better,
a
aren't I?
water bottle to keep myself hydrated so that I don't have to go back to the doctor or the ER and get another IV.
I know, right?
So apparently, if we're around in 2 weeks, it'll be a miracle if we all survive. Because I better not get sick.
We're gonna cough on you right here, both Pam and I.
Yeah, Adventures by Disney do it. Yes, I agree, Joanne.
Mike, did you put everything in that Google Doc or what?
I forgot to put anything in the Google Doc.
You are hopeless.
I was teaching.
Hopeless.
Sorry. It was trying to do 2 days worth of stuff today.
Yeah, what are we going to do with you, Mike Rallman?
So I put it in the text, though. We're going to talk Friday about the,
I gotcha.
All that stuff.
Yeah, okay. We'll figure some.
So I'll be doing this.
Yes.
The buckets will have air conditioning. That's what matters.
I don't know.
Yes, they will.
I'm telling you, from what I know, they don't. So
what she knows, which is not. Not.
can't. The last thing I heard.
Yeah,
they don't.
That changes on the daily.
Well, I understand that, but and I'm just saying, the last thing I heard, they don't. So
you don't want a sweaty Penguins jersey.
I understand that. I just don't want people to be disappointed if they're not either. Like, I don't want people to be like, "Oh, good, there's going to be air," and then maybe there's not, and like, there's no way to know. Actually, I can. I can maybe do some. I have a way to find something out. So I'll.
Are you on?
Sounds really.
You're on the crew, apparently. All right, okay, that's cool.
That sounds really shady. We'll see what happens. Let's put it that way. I can't guarantee I can find out 100%, but
we're gonna talk about Snow White coming to Wilderness Lodge. My preacher's wife is the biggest Snow White fan, and she's a big Disney fan and goes a lot, and she is so pumped about that.
It's awesome.
But I want to talk about it on Friday.
Lots of people are. Lots of people are excited about that. They like that. I will say I'm sad to see.
I knew you would be. As soon as I saw that news, I said Pam Forrester is going to be very upset.
Well, no, I'm not upset because I posted about this in our agency group that, and I'll explain why on Friday.
Yeah, well, we'll get talking. I mean, we're getting rid of all the good stuff here.
That's right. Save it for the show. Okay.
Save it for the show. How are you, Pam? I've missed your face.
Here I am. I'm here.
People are emailing saying you guys need to get back together and do a show together. I'm like, I hear you. I've been trying, man.
I know we've got a plan for the summer better next year. Probably we need to start like every now and then recording a show that we could, you know what I mean, like an evergreen show that we can dump in so that we don't have this happen. But that's a good idea. We'll figure it out. It is a good idea. See, this is why it happens. What did Mike just say there, Ricky? That he always says. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
That's me. And
that's as far as Mike goes in the figuring out process.
That's right.
There. That's where it starts and ends.
I'm sorry. We always get the shows out, though. That's one thing.
Okay. Yes.
Joanne says she kissed in the Coliseum, and I would like to know if Jay is going to get a little brother or sister out of the deal because I saw that picture.
I don't know if that was in the contract, like that you're supposed to make out in the Coliseum. Whatever. I mean, isn't that where the gladiators used to be?
Yeah.
Where they fought the lions.
Exactly. Where things have happened there, I guess.
I don't know.
All right, let's do this.
All right.
Here we go.
You remember how to do this? Let's see if we remember. I don't
know. I don't know.
This all day. It's like a new season almost for us. Never take a break.
Hey, you know what though? It is fall.
It is
now. So you're getting the new fall season of the BRS podcast. I mean, come on. We're back. We're back live on the air. We're back from the reruns and
from the reruns on Friday of us in the room. That room was loud, but that was fun. That was a fun show.
It was so much fun.
It was like a rap battle for two people that can't rap on stage. I wanted to be like,
there was no rap battle.
Cupcake, bah, and then you go like and say,
no. That was not what was going to happen.
With some cotton candy, boom, and like we go back and forth. That's next year.
You want
to talk about? Have you ever seen a rap battle?
Well, yeah, I've seen one. We'll talk about that later. we'll come back to that, right, Pam?
Okay.
It's not happening.
No rap battles.
No, man. We're from St. Louis. We can rap. Ricky's gonna spit out her water. That's how I was waiting. Okay, there we go. Good.
Oh my goodness, y'all the worst. I've missed you.
Right, let's do this. Okay, so this is 1377. Man, we're almost to 1400. Here we go. What? That's muted. Okay. Welcome to episode 1377 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you, which feels like a Tuesday because Tuesday felt like a Monday. But hey, it's all good. Hopefully you had a good day off on Monday. Got to have a 3-day weekend. We're settling back in. We're settling into the fall. Maybe you're listening to today's show with a pumpkin spice latte or whatever, just something on Starbucks can charge you $7 for a coffee. I don't drink that stuff, but if you do, more power to you. Have fun. You know, it's almost fall. It's football season. I think that's why I'm so excited. And I'm sporting a Pittsburgh Penguins t-shirt. So some people know what that could mean. It's awesome. I'm just telling you, thanks, Scotty G. All right, so let's answer your listener questions. Joining me today from down in Atlanta, Georgia, we have Ricky from at DisneyWorldAfterAll.com, TouringPlans.com, and the Mouse for Less, who just survived a battle with death this weekend, apparently. What's up, Ricky?
I am alive. I had a fun emergency trip to the emergency room on Saturday night,
That
and
sounded like a Muppet thing, like you're safely inside the theater. Safe.
I am. Just had to have a nice bronchitis, which I did not get from Pam, and which is ironic. And then also had some dehydration, so had to have an IV done, breathing treatment. It was all fun at 10 o'clock at night on a Saturday. Just, that's the way I roll, right? I mean, on a holiday weekend, why not go to the ER? I think that sounds like a perfect plan.
That's good people watching, usually.
There was nobody there. I take that back. There was one gentleman in handcuffs. I don't know what happened.
Exactly. That's always the best people watching. Boy, you go late at night on the weekend, man. You get to see.
I don't know what happened. I was leaving as he was coming in. I don't know anything else.
And I've had a few of those IVs for dehydration. I'll say that I always feel like an elite athlete when that happens, because you know how, like in football, they bring you in at halftime and pump you with IV fluids. Like I'm like, they just want to get me out there for the third quarter. That's
right. That's how I felt, man. It was like 11 o'clock at night when I left. I'm like, yeah, let's do this. I can do anything right now. And then I promptly went to sleep.
All right. Also joining us now, you might have remember her. She was a rumor here for a couple months, but apparently she's back. We have Pam Forrester, co-owner of the Men's. I know. Pam, welcome back.
I am back. Yes. I'm happy to be back. So sad that I missed so many of you over at the Indie Disney Meet, but so proud to be able to be a small part of that from far, far away, and that the giveaway of the trip raised so much money. That was awesome. I'm so glad to see that. And that was just a very cool thing to be a part of it. And how funny that people who already booked with us are our guests won the trip.
I know. It's awesome.
So anyways, that was really, really cool. But everyone did a great work out there. The Indie Disney Meet team is awesome. And again, it's really awesome to be a part of it. So
absolutely. It was a great time. We had so much fun, but we missed you definitely.
We did so much.
I know. Thank goodness we had so many team members out there. We had planned this year on having a bunch of our agents being there, and thank goodness that was the plan.
Right? Yeah.
That would have been kind of whack, but anyway.
Well, except for one agent who had slippery hands. But we'll talk about that's actually in the ad read for Friday's podcast, so stay tuned for that. I'm sure you'll love that.
Oh my goodness.
She feels so bad.
I already told her, don't worry about it.
That's okay. National championship football trophies have been dropped the same way, which we'll in the ad on Friday. But anyway, let's get to the question. This one is awesome. I love when you get a good title, you're going to bump to the top. And this one says, I've been waiting almost a year to ask this listener question.
Oh,
so you know
we're ready for it.
That's right. It's from Natalie. She says, hello, Mike, Pam, and Ricky. If you wouldn't mind, I have an is this romantic question.
Ooh, we can do those.
I know, in the heat of the summer, in honor of my husband and my 10th anniversary this week. So happy anniversary. Happy 10 years.
Yay, happy 10 years.
Yeah.
Is it romantic to end a kid-free weekend at the boardwalk by running the Wine and Dine Half Marathon, taking a break in Hollywood Studios to ride Tower of Terror? We're super hot and sweaty. I pity whoever sits in the seats after us. And my husband hates thrill rides. I think he only agreed to go on it with me because he was delirious from running.
Oh, no.
He told me he was miserable, but ride photos prove otherwise. Thank you for bringing our family a little joy every week. Congrats on the huge check that you sent to Give Kids the World. Love the Perillos. They're up in Downers Grove, Illinois, where I used to speed skate. Love that little town. All right. So apparently they've done this already.
I'm going to say they have.
Sounds like they did because they have a photo to prove it. So where does this fall on the romantic scale, Pam? What do you think? We're kind of off because we haven't done this for a few months, but what are you thinking here? Hot and sweaty Tower of Terror ride in the middle of the Wine and Dine Half Marathon.
I can't necessarily say it's romantic. I may say it was a good way to run a race, though, a good race activity, like more riding of attractions and maybe less running during that. I think is always a good thing. So, I mean, yes, I will give you that. Romantic, probably not, but fun, yes. Necessary, maybe. A good point of rest. Yes.
What I say is when you survive something together, like if you're in a miserable situation, like sometimes like mile 12 of a half marathon and it's hot and you're both like, oh my gosh, why did we do this? It's so miserable. I'm sweaty. I'm burning up. I just want to get to the finish line. When you, and is considering your husband doesn't like thrill rides, you make him go up and down on Tower of Terror after he's run 10 miles and he's hot. It's kind of like when you share in misery, when you look back on that, like, oh, remember that time that we did that together? That's romantic. Right, Ricky? I mean, am I on the right track here?
No, you're absolutely on the right track. I personally think romance can be found anywhere, so I think it's romantic.
Bloody seat on the Tower of Terror.
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's a good way to kick it off. All right, next email, best split stay ever from Ben. Hey, Mike, Pam, and Ricky. I'm going down to Walt Disney World. First time driving from Dallas, we normally fly, with my wife, 16-month-old, mother-in-law, and father-in-law the week after Thanksgiving for a split stay at Saratoga Springs and Copper Creek. We're doing one night at Saratoga at the beginning of the trip, 5 nights at Copper Creek. For booking fast passes, will we be able to book the entire length of our trip when we hit the 60-day mark at Saratoga, or will we have to book fast passes on 2 separate days? Hope this question makes sense. Thanks for adding some Disney magic to my day, 3 days a week. Ben, of course, is down in Dallas. 2 great resorts there, Saratoga and over at Copper Creek at Wilderness Lodge. Pam, how about the split stay making the fast passes?
So possibly will be the possibly. It kind of depends on how your tickets are linked up and all of that. Are your tickets, or do you have an annual pass? All these things are sort of going to play into that. As a general rule, if you have a split stay and your tickets are on the first part of your stay, you typically will be able to make them for both reservations. Sometimes that does not work, though, and you have to call Disney and they can sort of do some finagling behind the scenes there in MDX. So I'm going to say yes, hopefully.
That's what I think too. It's that you should be able to, but if you don't, you can call the My Disney Experience Help Desk 407-939-4357, and they can try to help you out and get that done.
But get flights of passage for anything you can get that first morning, and whatever day you can get it, switch stuff around and do flight of passage, because that's what you need them for. So
if you don't watch the videos, we record these live on Facebook, usually on Mondays around 5:30 Eastern. You miss comments like Mike Bankhead, who just threw one up here on the screen, and it's he says he could romance the balloon ladies. So I don't even know what that means, but I
don't either.
Maybe he sweet talks them, not into doing the sweet.
Maybe,
right, Mr. Bankhead?
That's what he means.
That's what he means. Gonna charm the balloons right out of their
totally charm them. Yes.
And the balloon ladies used to be like a whole line of ladies with a bunch of balloons. Now it's usually like 2 people with they're not even nice balloons. They're like cheap ones you get at Party City. If I'm going to get
for Star Wars, I saw that they had the Death Star balloons, which I think was quite
pretty
appropriate.
Cool. I want like 50 I want it to be like the up house that sweeps me. Like if I'm getting swept, I want it to be dramatic and big.
Yeah.
3 balloons.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jennifer's got a question. Best pre-food and wine breakfast. Hi, Mike, Pam, and Ricky. I'm starting to plan or daydream about our 2019 Wine and Dine Half Marathon trip. Yes, it's over a year away, but with it being close to that time this year, I thought I'd go ahead and ask a question. What would you guys say is the best breakfast option in the Epcot area? For lunch and dinner, we planned a snack and sip. Just thinking about that cracks me up. Around the booths and pavilions. Old school people remember that one. Mm-hmm. But since that won't start until 11, we need to fuel up for the day post running. It'll be 3 adults, and Mickey waffles must be a part of the equation. I have severe food allergies, but I have yet to encounter a Disney restaurant that can't handle them well. Thanks for keeping me entertained on my runs. Roll Tide and go Lizards. Jennifer is in Virginia. All right, so Pam, what would you do? So they got it. Mickey waffles have to be a part of the equation. They're in the Epcot area. So you got the resort, you got any place at Epcot itself. Where would you go for breakfast?
One of my new favorite spots to have breakfast is Ale and Compass, and they've made a change recently. That not only have they brought back the buffet, but they've also brought back some of the other things that people wanted to see. So you have the option again of choosing either an a la carte option or the buffet. And they brought back some of the favorites that they, used to have from the past, like the chocolate waffles and things like that. But I think their a la carte options are really good. They just have some unusual options, some things you typically don't see. One of my favorites is this little, they call it I forget, some kind of pie, but basically when they say pie, they mean pizza pie, not pie, because it's the first time I ordered it was for dinner and I was thinking like some kind of chicken pot pie, and then the pizza showed up.
Oh, that would have been so good.
I know, right? But anyways, the pie was really good. The pizza pie was good. So love that. And Jocelyn is saying that Loutre and beans, want everyone to know they strongly agree. And they loved it too. It just really is a good breakfast. And I almost hate to say that too many times. So 50% of you, could you forget I said that? Like if you're not really into it, like if it sounds like it could just possibly be okay, then just forget I said that.
Right.
And then the rest of you can take the advice. So
agreed.
Anyways, but it's a good spot and I like it. And that's all there is.
So I'd say for a sit-down breakfast in the Epcot area, just real quick. I don't know if they have Mickey waffles, though, because I haven't done it since they've changed over to Trattoria El Forno. If you want to get some cool pictures and good food at Boardwalk. That's something to think about. I think a lot of people miss that one. Okay, Ricky, over to you.
I've got my option. Besides Pam's excellent choice of Ale and Compass, which I have loved ever since it was Captain's Grill. Just want it to be known that I loved it before. Anyway, it's before it got popular. Wink, wink.
Captain's Grill was popular in its own right.
It was.
Ricky,
look at Ricky trying to take credit for this.
I am. I'm totally taking credit. But I do take credit for the chocolate waffles because I complained about them every time I went there for breakfast. And yes, so I brought them back. Okay, not really, but I just want to make myself think that I did. So I am going to suggest, so in Epcot, I'm going to actually suggest maybe going to Garden Grill. The reason behind this is you actually can get Mickey waffles here. So I do know that, and they have the best tater tots. I'm just telling you right now.
Everything at that breakfast is so
breakfast is good. Yes, that Chippendale. I know it's not. It's probably not what they're looking for because they had the allergy, but they have that bake of the cinnamon bake thing. Oh my gosh, that thing is so good too. The cinnamon roll bake, that's so delicious. So yeah, I'm gonna go Garden Grill.
And how mad is Jocelyn that none of us mentioned France?
I know. Sorry, Jocelyn.
Next question. First time signature dining. Help. It's from Kara. Hey, Mike, Ricky, and Pam. I'm going to Disney World in April 2019. I'm already beginning my months of pre-planning. That's good stuff. I'm going for the first time with my little brother, age 14, and my birth mom. This is their first full-fledged Disney trip and staying on property at Art of Animation. It'll be my 8th time. We really want to do a signature dining restaurant. I've done many table service, but not any signature dining. I am uncertain as to which one to pick, mainly because I really only eat chicken and notice many of the signature dining options have steak, fish, and other meat options, and typically only one chicken dish. What would be a good option for us? We will be on the Disney dining plan, so a place with good adult beverages would be awesome as well for me and my birth mom to enjoy. Thanks in advance. Kara is in Wrentham, Massachusetts, 1,021 miles from Mike. That's actually the exact distance in miles from my house to Pop Century. That's crazy, 1,021. I know that. 914 from Ricky and 464 from Pam. All right, Pam. So you are probably the out of us three, the best, in the know signature dining. So she likes chicken. Hey, I like chicken too. This is kind of my alley. So where would you suggest a good option with some drinks? Not intimidating signature dining, but might have something good on the chicken side, on the Yardbird.
So it has to be chicken, like it can't be seafood or fish.
Well, she says she likes chicken, so I don't know.
And she did say that she kind of implied that she didn't really like seafood.
That's what I was getting. Like I was wondering if she actually came right out and said that. So I believe, and I'm pulling up the menu as we talk right now, but Jico has a good chicken dish. And I really enjoy Jico. I've said that many times here on the podcast. Just, it's a great place. The restaurants at Disney World do really kind of focus on, they have maybe a beef option or two, some lamb, pork, a seafood, fish, things like that. But the one at Jico is the chermoula chicken. And it is good. It's good. It's not too odd. It's not too too. Everyone is sort of afraid that Jico maybe is offering food that's a little too exotic. And I can tell you the things kind of sound exotic, but everything just tastes good. So that's good. My other favorite dish, and I know we're not sure on the seafood thing, but is the maize crusted halibut. And I've recommended that dish for years and years. Everyone who's had it loves it. That tomato butter sauce is so good. It should come in a shot glass and you should be allowed to order it. So it's really not good. I know, really. I mean it. So there is that. There's also some other choices there. But the good thing about Disney restaurants in particular is if there's something that you want to change, if you need a suggestion, whatever, they're there to make some suggestions for you and maybe able to do it. And by the way, they have good drinks there too. Jico has some great drinks in addition to an extensive wine list. A lot of South African wines that are just so good. They have great mixed drinks there too. So look at the menu there and see what you think about that one. See if that would meet your needs.
I want to echo Jico as well, because again, I don't do a lot of signature dining because again, my kids like nuggets and even my 21-year-old still likes nuggets. And so we tend to just, eat at regular table service meals and quick service, but we went to Jico in April. And I'm not a fancy food person. And I felt kind of intimidated going in, like the perception, like I was like, oh, Boma's about as fancy as I need to get at Animal Kingdom Lodge. Sanaa, even a little fancier, but I'm comfortable there. I'll tell you what, Jico, the food was amazing. And the atmosphere was comfortable. It was everything a restaurant should be. It didn't seem, I think when we think of signature, we think of kind of like snooty. Some people do. Until you experience it, sometimes you're like, I don't belong there. If you've never been, it's kind of like there's a barrier to that word signature dining. What I experienced was it was really good food that tasted awesome. It wasn't eccentric. It was just really good food presented in really interesting ways, like the dessert that looked like a little bird nest or
it was. Yeah, that was cool.
I threw it up. But it was a neat place to experience. So I think Jico again is a great first signature restaurant because it's very, very comfortable and it's exotic and comfortable at the same time. It's a weird thing, but I loved it. I can't wait to go back. So Ricky, what would you throw on for this one?
I will say that while it does seem like chicken may be the thing that is what we're looking for, every signature restaurant will have some sort of chicken dish on the menu more than likely. So, that's going to be my best suggestion for you is to look at the menu and see menus of the signature restaurants and see which chicken dish sounds the best to you, because Disney knows that they are appealing to a wide variety of people with these signature restaurants. So they really do have a dish for everyone. So that's why you see a lot of seafood at them, or you see a lot of steak and things like that, because they know that they're appealing to a wide audience. But they almost always have a chicken dish on the menu as well. So my option I'm going to suggest is I would say just go with the classic of the California Grill. I think that that would be a really good option. There's a ton of stuff on the menu there. You've got stuff for adventurous eaters and maybe some who are maybe not so adventurous, that kind of thing. So and you got the view. So that's why I'm going to suggest California Grill. I just think that that's going to be the better option. But I agree with you guys. I think Jico is probably an excellent choice as well.
Good calls. All right. Next email says Magic Kingdom's 50th anniversary year. It's from Paula. Hey, Mike, Pam, and Ricky. Been listening to the show for over a year now, and you guys feel like family to me. I love that.
We feel like family to us too.
Get each other sick virtually. I mean, what else? How else?
That's right. I mean, Pam infects everybody. No.
Love the banter between all of you and the Disney magic you bring to me, to my everyday life. I've been to Disney World 3 times and Disneyland Paris in the last 2 years. So I guess you could say I've been bitten by the Disney bug. My husband is not as much of a Disney fan, so it'll be a few years before we get to go again. He turned 40 in the parks last year, so I've decided that I get to go for my 40th birthday as well. I'm thinking about taking my mom, who will turn 65 the same year. It'll have to be a chill vacation as my mom has had major back surgery and cannot do roller coasters. This trip will be in 2021, so I know I've got time, but I just love having a trip to count down to. So the question is, would it be better to go in January of 21, my mom's birthday, or August 2021, my birthday? Our very first trip was the 4th of July, so I'm well versed in the heat and crowds of the summer. I do like the weather in January better, as my second trip was in January 2017. What are your thoughts? Will there be anything out in January or August to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Magic Kingdom's opening? My mom has always wanted to go and just never been able to, so I want to make this trip as special as I can for her, and I think it would be great to be there during the 50th year. Or, to throw another option out there, do we want to wait and go in November? I guess she meant 2021 and go to a Christmas party too, because it says 2017. Can't do that. Our schedules are pretty open, so we can just travel about any time. Thanks so much for helping me get through this. Paul is up in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, 286 from me, 695 from Pam, and 839 from Ricky. But most importantly, 1,100 miles from Walt Disney World. All right, so Ricky, you read all the, right now it's still speculation and rumors for 2021, but we know that's the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World Resort, the Magic Kingdom in particular. What would you do, January or August? You got cooler weather, warmer weather. I mean, of course, we don't know anything for sure about the celebrations, but what would you say at this point if you had to guess?
So, Walt Disney World's 50th is technically, the actual date is October 1st, 2021. That's the official 50th opening date. Or 50th date. With that being said, of course, it's Disney, so they'll probably celebrate with, year-long celebrations. The question is when will the year-long celebration start? Will it start in January of 2021, or do I think it'll start later? That's the question. I suspect if you want to make sure you see everything, I'm going to tell you to push it back a little bit later to go towards the July date. And really, I may even consider that November date, just because if you want to make sure you see everything, for sure they will have as much as they possibly can have open by that October date, because that is the official 50th anniversary date. So, but I suspect they will try to have majority of the things open for the summer before that. So that would be, why I think the July date would work out well as well. So really, my suggestion is either going to be July or November, if you want to see the most for the 50th.
I 100% agree with your logic there. Pam, what do you think? Because I think if you push out further, you're going to have, because they're going to try to, I think Disney's really building up to 2021, and there's a lot of projects and a lot of, things up in the air. But I mean, if the later in the year, the more opportunity you have for things to be completed, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what we've seen lately from Disney's time frames is they're cutting it a little close. There's some delays that are that are happening that really impact that. So let's, I think that you've got a lot of things figuring into it, and I think you're always safe on the later end rather than trying to predict that it might be earlier. So,
yeah, I would say too, if you're looking to book, say, I really like that November 2021, because you know what, you're after the 50th anniversary official date. I think it'll start in January, if I'm guessing, or, sometime earlier in the year and extend for like 12 to 18 months. It's going to be a big deal. But conservatively, if you're going to book after the 1st of October, if you really want to make sure that you're there for the 50th celebration. But I would say this, book as soon as you can if you're going to book after October 1st, 2021, because that is going to go quick. I would think. So, hopefully there'll be a lot more hotel rooms by 2021, but still, the early bird gets the worm. So I do that. All right. Lauren's got a question. Adult Disney trips, the title. Good morning, BOGP crew. Well, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I have a question that I think Pam can really help me out.
Ooh.
All right.
Okay. Pressure's on.
She's here.
She says, Mike has helped me out with a trip next fall with my best friend. And since this will be an adults only trip, can y'all recommend some great lounges or restaurants where we can get away from the little ones? We both enjoy drinks and good food. We're staying at the Beach Club for 4 nights in September and are hoping for low crowds and I'm not even going to say the word. It starts with an H, and we get them in the fall, but I'm not saying it today. We're thinking about the folks down in Texas. Hopefully this one isn't a bad one. I am a more frequent Walt Disney World traveler than he is, but he has been a couple of times years ago. I went last January of this year, anything new that you found that you really like? As of now, we are sure planning on California Grill, Tudo Gusto, Jico, the Edison, and La Hacienda de San Angel. What would you suggest? Thanks, Lauren. She's down in Dallas. This is like a Dallas show. And
Right?
so there we go. All right. So she's looking for some meals and some lounges. So first of all, let me just say, I had an Edison drink for the first time made by Phil Scheingold during the Indie Disney Meet weekend. Those things are so good. I'm going to have to get over to the Edison. I'm just saying. Okay, so Pam, give her some lowdown on the lounges. You are the lounge expert here.
I know, right? So you're staying at the Beach Club. So you have a couple good choices there from which to choose. You have Martha's Vineyard Lounge, which is located right there at the Beach Club. And it's a great spot. It just is relaxing. There's lots of tables and little locations to sit. There are TVs and stuff like that if you want to do that, but you might want to check that one out. We actually have the menu over on the Mouse for Less. And in the same vein, over at the Yacht Club, of course, you have a couple good spots to go there too. In fact, Mike and his wife and Steve and I actually went to the Ale and Compass Lounge, which I would recommend. Steve and I have actually, this will come of no surprise to anyone who watches or listens to the podcast regularly, but Steve and I have eaten dinner at Ale and Compass Lounge many a time. They have some good choices there. They really do. You can order full-on dinner entrees or a couple of appetizers. And who doesn't like a couple of appetizers for dinner? To me, that's like the best dinner in the world because you get to try a couple things and whatever. They have some good drinks there. You can try that one out. And those are located so close to your resort. You can always walk over to the boardwalk and hit Abracadabar, which is really just a lounge. They've kind of taken the food away from there, which is kind of sad, right? Because they had some more food choices to begin with, but just not anything good right now. So think about that. There's also some good spots still over at Flying Fish. There's a lounge there you can check out. But, wherever you are, wherever's convenient to where you are, you can find a lounge at Disney World. So just check them out.
So let's add one restaurant to her slate of restaurants. She has some good ones there. I would say, well, I'm going to throw in two. Homecoming is a possibility because your friend hasn't been there for quite a while, and also maybe Be Our Guest. I know it's a tough one, but if you want kind of the new kind of quintessential Disney experience, I think people walk away from Be Our Guest, regardless of the food, with the experience. I've seen that on social media so many times, like, wow, and I'm talking about people that are not the uber Disney fans, like, our audience tends to be, but kind of the casual Disney fan is like just amazed. I know it's a tough nut to crack getting that ADR, but I think if you're taking somebody, you want to impress them with a Disney restaurant, Be Our Guest hits the spot. So Ricky, what would you say?
I'm going to stick with your Disney Springs area. I'm either going to say the Boathouse, or I'm going to say Morimoto Asia. I think those two are excellent choices.
And all the way from Rome, Joanne chimes in with Wine Bar George.
Yeah, that's good.
A good choice. Or you could also try, if you're looking for another lounge, Jack Lindsay's as well.
Yes, especially for an indie fan. All right, next question. Let's see here. It just says listener questions. There you go. Let's call it what it is in the title. Here we go. It's from Haley. Hello, I have a question about the mini marathon in January. I guess it would be the half or some smaller form of the marathon. My boyfriend is running the race, and since we're from Kentucky, we want to make sure we are prepared for the weather. Do you have any suggestions for those who are racing? Also, do you know when one should show up before the race? Haley. All right, Haley, let me tell you one thing. You're from Kentucky. Bring everything. And you know what? Here's the easiest way. I've learned this over the past couple of years, and I think a lot of the Lizards, our running squad, have started to adopt this idea, and we appreciate it because we have an Amazon affiliate link. I buy throwaway clothes and have them delivered to my resort. So I go on Amazon and buy the cheapest sweats, like a sweatshirt and a sweatpants, and I run the dopey, so I'm out there for 4 mornings, and I'll throw on a pair of sweatpants and a sweatshirt, and I get rid of them once the race starts. Once I get going, they're really cheap on Amazon. I don't have to pack them because I'm flying. They get delivered to my hotel. Piece of cake, and they donate those clothes to homeless shelters, I believe. So it's kind of a win-win, and they're super cheap. So that's what I do. But I'll tell you, what about January? If you've never been down for marathon weekend, it can be hot. I mean, it can be like in the 80s by the time the race ends on Sunday or Saturday, but it can also be in the 30s when the race starts at 5 o'clock in the morning, 5:30, 6 o'clock. So you really do have to kind of prepare for everything. Bring it. You may not use it, but it's good to have it so you don't have to buy it. As far as when you should show up before the race, you will get a packet when you pick up your bibs. Do not be late to get on the bus because you will literally miss the race. So be there. You got. I know you're going to read this if you've never done a marathon weekend. You're going to be like, what? At 3:00 in the morning? That's a typo. But that's not right. Yeah, it is, and it's ridiculous. But you have to be there. So have fun. See you out there. I'll be there. Say hey. All right. The next question. Here we go. Let's talk Christmas in September. I like it.
I love it.
Actually, my grandfather passed away about 12 years ago, and he made a train set for my dad and his brother when they were like 8. So this was like in the 50s, and gave it to them for Christmas. Well, my dad just sold their house because my grandma passed away a few years ago, and he found the train set. So I have it now. So my goal is to have it cleaned up by Christmas, and it's like a 50s.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
But I'm getting a toothbrush. I'm working on the locomotive when I get some time.
Fantastic.
No, I can't wait. I'm so excited. All right. Nicole's got a question. Hey, Mike, Pam, and Ricky, our family, my husband, myself, and 3 kids, they're 14, 12, and 9, will be at Walt Disney World from January 2nd through the 7th, doing a split stay between Riverside and Yacht Club. While we are Walt Disney World veteran visitors, making at least one visit each year, it's been a long time since we visited around the holidays, and I have a couple of questions. Number one, on our arrival day, January 2nd, we're planning to resort hop to enjoy some lounge dining in the awesome Disney holiday decorations. Will that be soon enough, or will the resort decor be getting removed by then? I've done some homework on the resort decorations, but I'd like to hear your suggestions on which resorts are your favorites to see with their halls decked. I think they'll be fine on January 2nd, right, Pam? I think they'll still be up. They kind of drag their feet.
Yeah, they'll still be up, I believe. They start taking down some decorations at the resorts earlier, than others, but by January 2nd, they'll still be good. They're always there good through New Year's. So nothing will be taken down yet.
Yeah, they're usually all up still for marathon weekend, but this year marathon weekend is so late. I don't think that'll be the case this year.
The only thing that I worry about is, although maybe not by the 2nd, but like the gingerbread houses, at the Grand Floridian. I know that they took it down pretty quickly last year after all the holiday hoopla, as well as the carousel made a gingerbread at the boardwalk, at the beach club, that kind of thing. They do kind of take those down pretty quickly after the holidays, like after the 1st. So it'll probably still be there the 2nd. But after that, I can't guarantee much else.
It's probably because people start biting like pieces up.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, that people have been biting throughout. That's kind of the scary part of it all.
Right?
America, I need a shingle.
All right. Eat it off this house right here. Ugh, no. You know how stale that is?
This flour, the flour box here.
Yeah, it's made of chocolate. It's fine. I'll eat it.
You're rolling out of 1900 Park Fair and you're still a little bit hungry. Anyway, number 2, your second question. It looks like most of the park holiday events will have concluded by the time of our visit. The exception to this is Jingle Bell Jingle
Bam
at the Hollywood Studios. We will be sure not to miss this, but are there any other fun Christmas things in the parks that will still be available? Thanks so much for the great podcast. Nicole's up in Morton, Illinois. All right, Ricky. So looks like Jingle Bell Jingle Bam still happening, but what else? Maybe
yes.
2nd and the 7th of January.
So the decorations in the parks will still likely be up, as Pam had mentioned, and it will depend. I know in the past they try to keep it through marathon weekend, but like you said, since marathon weekend is so late this year, I'm not entirely sure how long that will last, but you will get to see some of the decorations in the parks for sure. Unfortunately, you won't get to see, like the Christmas parade at the Magic Kingdom, and Candlelight Processional does end on the 30th of December. So unfortunately, you won't get to see any of that. But yeah, you'll definitely get to see Jingle Bell Jingle Bam, which is an excellent show. I suggest you see it.
I've never seen the movies, but I like that show. There's lots of lasers.
It's fun. It's got lots of lasers. Yes.
And they're red and green lasers too.
They are.
All right, next question is from Amanda. It's a simple one. Can we take a refillable popcorn bucket from a previous Walt Disney World trip to an upcoming trip and get refills? I have.
So creepy.
Well,
next question.
Hey, do you want the technical answer, or do you want
the real answer is that you're not supposed to do that. And if the design changes, of course, you will not be able to.
It is up to Disney's discretion, but if they tell you no, then don't be sad and buy another bucket. So.
Right.
It's still a good deal. Like even if you have to buy
It is absolutely a good deal.
Yes, it's if you are a popcorn eater, you will get a good deal, even if you have to buy one each trip. I will say.
Mike, you don't even eat popcorn. What are you
That's
talking
the thing. I don't even like popcorn, but we bought one of those refillable buckets, so I started eating the popcorn, and I ate way too much popcorn.
about? What? You don't even like
I don't really
popcorn.
like it. Right. I don't even really. Well, Disney World's kind of the best popcorn. It was
Yes, it is.
I mean, if you're gonna eat popcorn, Magic Kingdom is a pretty good place to eat popcorn. I'm just saying. But you know what? Like you got to make sure that you're not trying to eat your way back to profitability on that bucket.
True. They're not getting back to profitability on that bucket.
Like your stomach's like, oh, you're so stupid. You're so stupid.
Because you still have to pay for the refill. It's just a discounted price. It's not like it's a free refill. It's $1.50, I think, for the refill. So
$2. So yeah, it's cheap. I mean, because the thing was, we bought it for Emily and Mallory, and so they were trying to get the value. But of course, if you're walking around with buttered popcorn all the time, like everybody's, like
yeah, exactly.
Eating all that sucker.
Yeah. Brian and I just take handfuls and just shove it in our mouths. That's how that works. Yeah.
You're so stupid. Quit eating popcorn. Anyway, last question of the day. It just says listener question. It's from Ann. Okay. Hey gang, my family with 2 kids, they're 7 and 9, are planning to celebrate New Year's at Disney World this year. We've never done this time of year before. We'd like to go to the Magic Kingdom on the 30th and Epcot on the 31st. Boom. That's exactly how you do it. All right. First of all, can you recommend a good spot to watch the Magic Kingdom fireworks, Fantasy in the Sky? All right. She's got 4 parts here. So Pam, where would you watch the fireworks in the Magic Kingdom? The hub, I guess. If you can.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a hub kind of gal. I like that view. Now, we experienced them on the 4th of July up by Big Thunder, which was an interesting location as well. I'm not opposed to seeing the fireworks from other places. We didn't plan well, and we were too far away from anything to get anywhere. But that wasn't a bad location. But if you're going to do it, I might suggest some place that back by Fantasyland if you don't want to be in the hub, because there's a good location from there too. But I just love the hub. I do. So
yeah, that guy smoking next to us was kind of ruining my day too. I was like, put it out, man. You're not supposed to be smoking back here. He's killing me.
That's true. Yeah,
fireworks more like wishes than happily ever after in terms of the amount of the projection. I can't remember like with that. I mean,
no projection.
Less,
I don't think there's any projection for the New Year's Eve fireworks because it's the old show, the Fantasy in the Sky. So there's no projection for that.
But I can't remember. Because I mean, I know how Illuminations typically does on New Year's Eve, but on the 30th, do they do Happily Ever After with a tag of fantasy?
No, it's it's Fantasy in the Sky. It's a different fireworks show.
That's what I thought. Okay. Yeah, I was getting confused there. She says, I've learned that there are generally 2 shows, one in the evening and one at night. Which show do you suggest we watch? My kids are young, but staying up late isn't an issue for us. So I'm thinking, I'm trying to think, because I know Illuminations, they do like an early, like 7 o'clock 30 Illuminations, regular show. Mm-hmm. And then at, midnight or 11:45, they do 11:40, they do the New Year's Eve fireworks with the big blow everything up tag. How does it work? Is there a Happily Ever After set like 6 or 7 on the 30th? I think it's just the one fireworks show, right?
Yeah, I think so too.
I'm researching. I'll come back. So I know I have this information on the Mouse for Less, so I'm researching. Give me a second.
Well, this is the last question of the day, so research.
I understand that. I'll get to it. I'll get back to it in a second.
Just one last part. Any recommended game plan for both nights? We've gone to Disney World so many times that for this trip, we just want to focus on enjoying the New Year festivities, not the rides. Thanks so much for your help. I always enjoy the show during my run. And man, we got a lot of runners out there. So keep on chugging. If you're listening today while you're running, I'm usually listening to podcasts when I'm running too. So I appreciate that so much. Hopefully you're having a great run and the wind is at your back. All right. So Pam, we've been to New Year's many, many times for New Year's Eve. It's doable. It's awesome. You just got to roll with the punches. So what advice would you give her going down for the first time for the madness of New Year's Eve, but also the joy of it?
Yeah, I agree. What's funny is we have this Facebook group where with the Mouse for Less, where people are answering questions. And this one always cracks me up because when everyone posts that they're going to go at Christmas or New Year's, it's like 300 people are like, oh my gosh, that was the worst thing you could ever do in your whole life. Like, I think actually so many people in that group think that going to Disney between Christmas and New Year's or on New Year's might be worse than murdering someone. I'm just saying.
I agree. I agree.
You would get less judgment for actual murder, then you would. It seems that way.
It's fun. It is. I mean, you have to adjust your expectations.
It is.
Absolutely. And we love it. All of us love it. We do enjoy it. We're there on holidays many times, different holidays throughout the year. And it's because it is so freaking magical. Like, I swear, I come home with, I know, freaking magical. It's hashtag freaking magical.
Yes.
But anyway, it is. I swear I come home from those trips with like people who are like, was it crowded? And I'm like, no, it wasn't crowded at all. Like, I hardly remember the crowds because you just do so many cool things. You know, so that's the way to approach it. So for people who don't go maybe quite as often as we do, but still want to appreciate and enjoy the holidays, the thing I will say is, first of all, do not spend all day in the Magic Kingdom. Do not get there at 7 a.m. and try to make it to past midnight. You're not going to like life at the end of the day. No, you're not. Actually, you may end up killing someone by the end of the day.
Yes, yes.
No wonder people don't get, 30
I know, right? Exactly. So don't do that. Despite what your friend told you, that if you aren't there at park opening, the park will be closed and they won't let you in. Not true. I have never been there when the park, even if it has closed to capacity, has not reopened in the evening. Always does. So don't worry about that. I guess have a freaking magical day. I love that, Dennis. So don't spend all day there. What you need to do is kind of chill in the morning, get your bearings, you know, have a good meal, go in there, go into the park, having just gone to the bathroom because the lines will be long, and just eaten because the lines will be long. So arrive prepared and just ready to do what you have time to do. If you happen to do some attractions before the fireworks, awesome. Otherwise, just go and enjoy the festivities because that's what you're really there for, and have a good time. Use those Fast Pass Plus options. They're golden on the holidays.
They are. Make them at the 60-day mark for sure. Yes. Yes.
Go and enjoy.
And I have an answer.
Summarize Pam's points here real quick, and Ricky, you'll close us out with your answer. So he's saying go in full belly, empty bladder.
Yes.
Secondary attractions.
Yes.
Have fast passes and don't be there all day. Just do the
and have a freaking magical
time.
Hashtag freaking magical day. All right.
Freaking magical time.
All right, give us your answer, and then we're gonna get out of here.
All right.
Try to slide that into more podcasts. By the way,
I think that's awesome. All right. I like how Nancy says that she'd like a shirt with that. Nancy, I can make that happen. So just letting you know, I can make that happen now. Be on the lookout for the podcast store that we have, and I might make that shirt happen. Anyway, so the fireworks Happily Ever After does show as well. So it shows about 6:00 at night, and then the big fireworks extravaganza happens at about 11:50 at night. So yeah.
All right. So we have the shirt sales already happening in the chat. So it's wonderful. I don't know if I'm agreeing with this, but hey, it is what it is. All right, so that's gonna do it for today's podcast. Thanks so much for joining us. We love these questions. Send those to mike@podcast.com. We'll get these on the air right away. So today's show brought to you by our friends over at virtualmickey.com. At least it was today. I don't know about next Wednesday.
Yeah, I don't know about anymore.
So you can get a free app for your Apple device. It's called Theme Park News Disney Edition. It's awesome to read when you are having breakfast or when you just need some Disney news. So Ricky, what are we reading about this week on Theme Park News Disney Edition?
We are reading about the fact that the Kringla Bakery has reopened at Epcot. Hooray! School bread for all. The snack stuff.
Good stuff.
I think school bread's overrated, but that's me. I'm a terrible human being. So anyway, the snack stop has seen an expansion in the ordering area. However, familiar items like school bread, lefse, Norwegian kringla, berry cream puffs, and the Viking chocolate mousse are all still on the menu, so never fear. Your favorite place has returned. It's just a little bit bigger, so you can stand in line a little bit longer.
Did they get rid of the stand out on the promenade, or is that still there too?
No, they got rid of that. That was just temporary until they finished the refurbishment.
Now the lines won't be frighteningly out the door.
Right.
They'll
They'll
all
just
be
be
encompassed in the
snake.
beauty of the expanded queue.
Well, you won't
Yes.
see it easily. You know, I'm saying it's more hidden in the
Right. Yeah. You won't know how bad it is till you get in there and you're like, oh. Dang.
Oh, maybe I don't need school bread today.
Exactly. I'm not going to school today. All right.
No.
So that's it's a free app. Download it today. And there's other great apps to turn your Apple device into a Disney device over at virtualmickey.com. Thanks again, everybody who supports the show with our Amazon affiliate link. We really, really appreciate that. Just anytime you shop on Amazon, click through beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. Give us a follow on social media. We're on Instagram and Twitter at Be Our Guest Pod and at Be Our Guest Mike. We've got an awesome Facebook page at facebook.com/Be Our Guest Podcast, where you can see the video for today's show. You can also check it out on YouTube, youtube.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. That's going to be it until Friday, where we're going to come back and talk about lots and lots of Disney news that has happened in the last week or two and give our thoughts and just have some fun talking Disney with you. So until we see you again, for Ricky and Pam, I'm Mike, wishing you a great Wednesday. Time to head back to work, and we will see you real soon. Good stuff. Let me save that to one.
Yay.
It's fun. Yep, those good questions. Now I'm wanting to be down there for Christmas.
I know. Well, I'll be there for Christmas, but I'm not sure I actually know I'm probably not going to be there for New Year's this year, and it makes me sad. Stupid New Year's falling on a weird day, not a weekend.
Late. Stinks.
I know. It's all messing up this year.
It is. All right. So I got the illumination stuff.
Club Illuminations. Yeah, Club Illuminations. I love it.
All right. Work on that shirt. Okay, here we go. 1378.
Well, I can work on that shirt.
That was a good one, Pam. That was, I know those unintentional good hashtags. Sweet.
I love it. Yes.
Freaking magical day. I'm gonna say it to the next cast member I talked to at DT or on the phone when I'm calling it a reservation.
You have a freaking magical day.
Too.
Boom.
Damn.
And if someone you don't really mean it to, but you don't want to say what you're really thinking, you can be like, have a freaking magical day.
If I said that to Sharon at Disney Cruise Line, she'd have a heart attack. So I might try that. I'll see. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It was on our podcast because she listens.
That's funny.
This week because it's there. Okay, so yep, your Scotty G's right. Scotty G got on the jersey. What? And I'm just having Coke Zero. So sad. That face. All right, here we go. 1378. Welcome to episode 1378 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the great agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you, which kind of feels like a Thursday because Monday felt like a Tuesday or Tuesday felt like a Monday. I can't remember. You know what? Let's just get this week out of the way. It's almost the weekend. And next
It's done.
week, I can actually get back into the groove. I'm so messed up still. I just know that we have college football tomorrow. And the remnants of the hurricane are going to be over dead center over Columbia, Missouri, expecting 6 inches of rain. It's going to be a mess. And my season tickets, of course, I'm cheap. I don't even have a seat. We just sit on the grass. And so
Enjoy the mud.
Severe slant. It's called the hill for a reason. It's going to be ugly, but you know what? Go Mizzou. Let's take out Wyoming, playing a big powerhouse program like the Wyoming Cowboys. It's going to be fun. So you got to take what it is. So I love the weekend. Hopefully you're getting ready for a great weekend yourself. We're getting ready to talk Disney and a lot of Disney news, lots of various Disney topics. So I think you'll enjoy this one. And we're glad again to all be back together, even though Ricky's coughing, we may lose her at any time. So we have the three of us together temporarily. We'll see how long this lasts again. But we have Ricky from DisneyWorldAfterAll.com, touringplans.com, and the Mouse for Less. What's going on, Ricky?
It's the bronchitis that will never end. I feel like it's like the Lamb Chop song. It's the bronchitis that never ends. It goes on.
That's catchy. That's gonna be the next thing.
That's all I mean, that's all it feels like. But yeah, it's going. Looking forward to a great weekend. Have a garage sale here this weekend so I can sell some stuff so I can go on my Disney cruise.
What?
That's one thing. Hack all your personal
He
belongings.
just mentioned her garage sale. Did that just happen?
Yes, it did.
Mike, Don't you have more control over this situation?
Well, you know what? I eat dinner at 4:00, so I'm kind of like her.
I'm an old lady.
I know, but how did she get the okay to mention her garage sale on the podcast?
This is the trading station on a Saturday morning on cable.
Right?
Do you have any old antiques to sell?
Any lost pets in the area? We have our lost pet listing.
If you've seen the posts that are going around on Twitter this week about people who are trying to fund their Epcot Food and Wine Festival trip, I feel like me mentioning my garage sale is not the worst thing that I could have been doing today. So,
Ricky, you're trying to set me up, and I'm not taking the bait because that just go ahead.
I'm just saying, I could be charging people for me to say their name on the podcast, and I'm not. So, Mike Rollman. Anyway,
I'll PayPal you after this.
That's fine. I'll take my money later. Yeah.
Oh man!
All right, let's move on from that. I'm scared. We're in this water here. So we have Pam Forster, co-owner of the Magic for Less Travel. Pam, you're clear. What's going on?
Who does not participate in the garage sales? I'm just saying. I just don't. I can't even. That's all I can say.
I just have junk I need to get rid of, and this is the best way for me to do it.
Yes. So here's what I do. I put it in the back of my car and take it to the donation place. I get it.
Every once in a while we have one here, and we do a combo of what you're saying. We do a garage sale. But the rule is after the garage sale is over, like at noon or whenever the thing ends, you nothing comes back into the house.
That's exactly what's going to happen here. It's all going.
If you knew me and spoke with my family, you would know that I declutter on a nearly daily basis. So once I've decided that something's no longer worthy, it goes immediately. I just can't. But anyways, no. So I don't even know where to go after that. Thanks. I'm so glad to be back.
I'm sure you are now. Yeah.
I just I missed this, I think.
I guess.
Yes. Yes, I did. And I have nothing to hawk right now. So
All right, so
that's good.
Let's get to the Disney topic. We were talking garage sales here too long. So first topic on the table is folks using GoFundMe to go to. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, it's Venmo. It's Venmo. It's fine.
Never mind. So let's get to let's talk about some various Disney topics. So
you said we were talking Disney topics. That was one. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I would say to start off, when you guys can throw in any of yours, of course, the news in the last week that's kind of surprising and kind of exciting for a lot of folks is that Artist Point apparently is going to change from a signature dining location, which I know Pam Forster, it's one of your favorite, kind of quaint, quiet, out of the way, nice meals that you've gone to. I've never been there, but it's going to change over to character meals with Snow White and I guess the seven dwarves. I guess I don't know.
Two of the seven dwarves.
Dwarves.
You get to meet Dopey and Grumpy. You can't meet all the dwarves. The only way to meet all the dwarves is to go to the Mickey's Not So Scary or Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party and pay for a ticket. So
well played, Disney. Well played.
Yes, well played. You get to meet 2 out of the 7.
So let's just get our thoughts. So Pam, again, you went there and this is one of your favorite places. I've never been. Like I said, Ricky, I don't think you've ever been to Artist Point, right?
Not yet. Not yet. I might make a point to go before it switches over if I get the chance to.
What are your thoughts?
So it's kind of, I have mixed feelings about this because Artist Point really did used to be one of my favorite locations. And the last few times we had visited, we'd had good meals and we've had meals that I just felt like for one reason or another just weren't hitting the mark like they used to. There was like a service, like a major service slip, or food just didn't come out like I felt it should. And I always feel like when that's happening, a restaurant has to really make a big effort to get things back on track, or they have to make a change of a big nature. And those are really, those become the only two ways to recover from that. Frankly, the restaurant hasn't been that busy the past few times that I've gone. And it's another location where I think is just not being staffed the whole way, which I understand because it hasn't been as busy. But when you roll up and you can actively see 10, 15 tables empty and you come up for your meal and they're like, you're going to have a seat until you can be sat. And I'm like, there's a table right there, boo. I'll just have a seat.
It is
Put
frustrating.
it on me whenever. I'm fine. But I just
We're gonna go sit
there.
down.
Yes.
So, anyways, no, and I get it. I mean, they want you to be greeted within a certain period of time. But anyways, so it's a big restaurant. First of all, if you haven't been, it sort of is in an L shape. Even the seating, there's a little bit right here by the podium, and then it extends way back into that. So I guess my feeling is that if they're going to change it to something that really is going to appeal to people, and if you've been on social media, you've seen that this really does appeal to people. You're actually going to get a chance to see the Wicked Queen too, which is really, I think, a cool thing. So if they're going to change into something that appeals to people, I'm all for it. There's a lot of other signature locations that if I'm looking for that kind of experience, I can find it. So, and I know that people will like that. So I'm okay with it. I really am. I think it'll be an interesting fit for Wilderness Lodge with Snow White there, and that. So I'm anxious to see. You know what I would love to see though? A little bit of a meal that didn't serve the same stuff. Like, how about there are maybe, okay, I get you got to have Mickey waffles in the morning, right? But how about there's a few interesting dishes thrown in there? They don't all have to be interesting. But could there be a couple maybe that were interesting?
Mm-hmm.
So what I find interesting about this is, again, having never been there, and somebody who doesn't do a lot of signature dining, I just being in the Disney community for the last decade is that the one thing that really gets the troops riled up, and I'm included in this many times, is change. Like, oh my gosh, they're changing, because this is a dramatic change. It's not like a chef change, or they're changing a couple of entrees or hours, or they're redecorating the restaurant. This is going from a signature dining restaurant to a character meal, which I think is smart. And I'm excited that the Disney community has kind of rallied for this, because I think it's going to be a net gain for everybody. Because, when you think about your typical Disney traveler, it's going to be families, and it's going to be folks who want to interact and have experiences with characters. And so I think that this is just another way to have one of those meals that's going to be extremely popular come a year from after it opens, I think. Because it's right a hop, skip, and a jump from the Magic Kingdom. I think this is a win, even though, I feel for the folks who are couples and folks, that like the fine dining. But like you said, it sounds like this one, if they had to take away a signature dining, we're not losing like a Jico, and I know there's fans of Artist Point, but I think that net win come a year from now. So Ricky, what are your thoughts?
No, I absolutely agree. And I think that this is going to be, so from my understanding, from how everything read, it is going to be very similar to me to what they just did over at Be Our Guest restaurant. That sort of seems like the model that they're taking and running with it, which is also a signature meal. So this will still be kind of a signature meal as far as Disney is concerned. They're going to have, I believe it's the appetizer or that you can share type situation. And then you're going to get individual plated entrees, and then you're going to get kind of a shared dessert, or maybe it's just everybody gets their own dessert. I'm not entirely sure, but it definitely seems like that's kind of the route that they went with Be Our Guest. And it seems like that's the model that they're bringing over here. So the difference with Be Our Guest is, of course, that's not a traditional character meal, whereas I feel like this will be a little more obviously character heavy with the addition of Snow White, Grumpy, and Dopey. And then how I'm reading it is that you will actually meet the Evil Queen, kind of like you do like Beast, after the meal, as a kind of, the finish to the entire meal. So I don't believe that the Evil Queen will be roaming around. I think that'll be a set location for her, and you'll go meet her after. That's kind of how everything reads to me. As far as that's concerned, I think it's, again, I do feel for the people who really liked Artist Point and who, enjoyed the restaurant. However, kind of like Pam was saying, it did seem like it was empty a lot. And I think that, this is a space that could be utilized for something. And I can guarantee you, I think this meal is going to be very popular moving forward. So it's taking a space that maybe wasn't, seeing its full potential. And I think it's going to see its full potential as we move forward. And, even depending on how popular this is a character dinner as of right now. I suspect this may be a character lunch as well as a character breakfast as we move forward. So, depending on how popular this is and based off of the social media outcry for it, I think that it's going to be very popular.
So Jennifer says in the chat, I'm very excited about this character dinner. Wish all 7 dwarfs would be there, but I know it probably isn't realistic to have them all. It's probably right. I mean, you can,
Right.
just when you think about Akershus or Chef Mickey's, you got 5. That's quite a few, and that's you're really not going to
Right.
that. I will say I'm curious about this because I think it's supposed to open, Ricky, winter 20 or
Yes.
at some point.
This winter.
Here's
Yeah.
the deal, though. And I'm saying this as somebody who's participated a lot, in Dopey Challenge. The people who run Dopey, and there's quite a few people who do this, they wait in line for hours to get a picture with their medal with Dopey. And all of a sudden, now you have a character meal that has, I wonder, this had to have at least crossed their mind to have Dopey as one of the 7, right? I mean, that maybe, once a year, this can be sold out. I mean, over Marathon Week.
Dopey is a favorite for many people. I mean,
Really?
Yeah. Dopey's always been the favorite for a lot of people. Dopey and Grumpy, which are the 2 that are coming out. So that's why those 2 are going to be introduced here at the character meal. So that's why I said this is going to sell out a lot.
Oh, yeah, I think it will. I mean, because it's going to be an easy one. I think a lot of folks like it. It's your classic, but it's comfortable. I don't know. I think everybody's going to like it. So it's cool, though, that they're doing something with the old classic characters. I mean, I like it. Kind of cool. Yeah. Well, is Maleficent, though? That's Snow White, right? No? I don't know.
Maleficent is not. No, that's not Snow White. That's Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah, same thing to me. Don't they both fall asleep and have to eat an apple, get kissed or something? I don't know. I don't watch movies.
Oh, my girl, man.
Whatever. Let's get to the next thing. Let's talk minivan to Orlando International. So they announced that this was something you could do. Club level guests could take a minivan to Orlando International and be picked up and get kind of a deluxe version of Disney's Magical Express, of course, for a cost. But Pam Forster, what do you think about this? I think it's just Disney offering more options to more guests. It's something you could take or leave, but it's an option, right?
Yeah, I agree. It's just a different option. People really like the minivans, and people who wouldn't necessarily take maybe some other kind of ride sharing option are willing to do something like this. Although it's not like you aren't really sharing with another family or anything. So, yep. Just another option for people to take. And I'm sure that a lot of people will use this. I mean, there are certain folks who really, want this kind of service, but just don't know where to even look for it. So I think that there will be folks that take that.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because, I told this, we always talk about the Disney news as we're having dinner, riding in the car with my wife. And I told her about this. And of course, we're Magical Express folks who are totally fine with that. You got to wait. You got to give up some time. It's not the most, you don't get to your resort necessarily quickest because sometimes you go through another resort. Sometimes you got to wait for the bus to fill up and so forth. But it's a free service. It's included in your Disney vacation. So we're fine with that. It fills the need for us. Magical Express does. But I think you're right. I mean, Disney had to have done some studies and see that a lot of folks maybe take private transportation over Disney's Magical Express. And when you use the minivans, you're under the Disney umbrella. You have a cast member taking you there. You have a clear expectation of what you're getting as far as this experience getting from MCO and back. So, Ricky, do you know the cost? I think it's $150 is the cost, right?
It is a flat fee of $150. Gratuity is not included. So please pay a gratuity, by the way.
Just your servers.
Yeah, exactly. And the cost, it's actually different from the minivan service, technically. So it's the same, it's under the same umbrella, but this is the minivan airport shuttle service. And what that means is that you don't actually call the lift from your app like you would do for the minivans if you're trying to go from place to place around the resort. If you want to take advantage of this service, you do have to call 407 WDW Play in order to be able to use this. And the charge will be charged to your room. It will not be charged to the Lyft app. So keep that in mind, that you're going to have to do it that way. Yeah, it can carry 6 passengers and 8 medium-sized suitcases and up to 3 complimentary car seats. And there are also ADA accessible vehicles available. A couple things to kind of keep in mind is if you are doing this for arrivals, you do have to grab your luggage. So, do know that Disney's Magical Express will not take it for you. So you have to grab it yourself. And then if you are using it as a departure, the best thing that I can suggest would be to use the airline check-in service that, so that way your bags are gone. You don't have to worry about it. And you can just go from there and not have to worry about carrying your bags to the airport and things like that. So Yeah, I think that again, you know, people who are kind of wary about Uber, because I understand, you know, Uber can be a very scary thing. As someone who uses Uber a lot, when she's traveling, now that she's comfortable with it, I wouldn't necessarily do it by myself, but you know, if I'm with Brian or, you know, my family or whatever, I would be perfectly comfortable using Uber. But it's very intimidating for somebody who's never used it before, because I mean, you're calling a stranger to come pick you up and drive you around places, and you know, that could be
the idea when you say it like that. It's like, man, I've never.
and we are totally crazy people. I mean, let's just be perfectly honest. We're, you know, we're relying on somebody to pick us up and drive us around. But so, you know, for those who maybe haven't utilized an Uber before, it can be a very scary thing. So if you have the Disney bubble that you know that you're safe under, you know, I can understand why people would want to take advantage of this. Yeah, I mean, I know like Len has talked about the fact that, you know, people, when they were using the service, they were like, can we schedule this to pick us up at the airport the next time we come in too? And they were like, no, we're not there yet. You know, that's not something that we do. And of course, now you can at least have it be something that's possible. So
I will say, yeah, in April, I took an Uber back because I was on a time crunch back from Wilderness Lodge to MCO, $39, and we got there in less than 40 minutes.
It's I mean, it's so much cheaper. Let's be honest. The money you're going to save is ridiculous. But I mean, if you're just terrified of taking Uber, I mean, the 150 is worth it. So
you're kind of paying, you know, like I listen to a lot of podcasts for technology, and they call it like the Apple tax. Like, you know, when you buy something for Apple, you're usually paying like 10 to 20% more just because it's Apple, but you know that it's going to work, you know that it's going to be simple, you know that it's going to be updated, it's going to be, you know, you have an expectation for the quality of the product. You know, I think this is one of those cases where you're almost paying like a Disney tax, you know, you know, you're paying 100%. For it, but you're going to have the expectation is you're going to have a better experience.
100%.
But I can picture us like if we use this, like, and we flew in, the way we pack, like it'd be looking like the Beverly Hillbillies heading over to Walt Disney World with like the, you know, the minivan and the 7 suitcases stacked on the roof, you know, and a big strap.
Right? Yes, it would be bad. It would be very bad.
I want to throw in a rumor here, you know, because I love talking. This is the kind of stuff we talk about on text, but I want to get it out there for all of our listeners and get your feedback here over the weekend on Facebook. I keep hearing this rumor that could this be right that Hoop-Dee-Doo musical reviews days could be numbered? Can that be right? That's been there since the beginning. I hope not. This hurts my heart, and I'm keep hearing it more and more. You know, I've given in. Illuminations is changing. It's time. I mean, as much as I said I was gonna, you know, strap myself to the Inferno barge. You know, if they're gonna change it,
well, they'll just blow you up there. It's fine.
They'll blow me to smithereens at this point. They're like, yeah, one less podcast.
Right? We don't have to worry about him.
Exactly. So, Pam, what are your thoughts? I mean, this is, you know, again, I talk about change, and I know change is good sometimes, but I mean, it's hard to change something from 71, especially right in front of the 50th. That's crazy, right? Maybe.
I know, but sometimes, you know, you can't anticipate what change is going to bring until the change has happened. I mean, that's just how it is. It could be something that's your new favorite thing. You know, what's weird is I am such a fan of Disney that even when they make a change, although I may fuss about it a little, at the end of the day, I kind of trust that they'll bring something in that will work, that will be great. And I don't know, like maybe if they aren't going to change something that's overwhelmingly successful, right?
Well, I mean, is it not over? I mean, it seems
I
like
don't know.
Sold out, I would think.
I think that they've probably seen a decline in people doing it over the years, and maybe looking at something that could generate more success in that space. So it's, you know, I think it's always good to consider that. It's always good to consider what's doing well, what's not doing well, and what can we take a look at to see if we could change.
I mean, I get it that like that kind of show is not the most popular thing happening in 2018, you know, moving forward, 2019, 2020. I mean, there's a reason Hee Haw is not on the air anymore, right? I mean, it's not. I mean, my parents used to love that show. They used to make me watch it. As big buck tooth like mule or whatever that was in the logo, and you go, you know, like I read that's burned into my skull. There's a reason that stuff isn't around anymore. It's not like the popular thing to do anymore. But man, Ricky, I mean, Walt Disney World without Hoop-Dee-Doo, is it? Say it ain't so.
Here's what I think. I think that this was a miscommunication. I personally don't think Hoop-Dee-Doo is going anywhere. I think Hoop-Dee-Doo is still very popular. I think that what the miscommunication is there is a show that is potentially going
Mickey's
at
barbecue, right?
and it's Mickey's Backyard Barbecue. And I think that that's where the miscommunication came from. I think that somebody heard a dinner show at Fort Wilderness was leaving, and I think that it immediately went to Hoop-Dee-Doo Review. And so that's kind of where I think the miscommunication happened. I think we definitely, I don't know, of course, I say this now, and, you know, it's Disney, so they'll announce it this week after I said it. They haven't officially announced anything about Mickey's Backyard Barbecue, but the consensus is that is potentially going away, which, when you look at things, that one makes sense. Yes. Because that one is not very popular. It does get, you know, it is... It has issues with weather a lot of times, especially with the cold, you know, coming in. It's an open air place. So I can see where Mickey's Backyard Barbecue would be what is on the chopping block, not Hoop-Dee-Doo Review. So I think that there was probably a bit of a miscommunication this week as far as Disney rumors go, which of course happens. I mean, it is a rumor, right? So I'm hoping that that's what is really happening. And that's the correct thing, because yeah, it's just it doesn't make any sense for Hoop to go. I think Hoop-Dee-Doo is, especially like you said, Mike, ahead of the 50th. I really don't see it going anywhere. I don't see them getting rid of it before the 50th.
But so. I will just say that I searched for Hoop-Dee-Doo spots over the next week, and I can get them.
Well, there you go. I don't know. Interesting.
On a couple of different times.
I definitely think the Backyard Barbecue is what is really going away, because I know that the rumor is, of course, that they're working on DVC at Fort Wilderness. So I think that spot is probably ripe for DVC.
That makes a lot of sense. All the stuff you said, really, I'll be able to sleep better tonight now that you say that. You know, because here's the thing: I mean, even if there's spots, like Pam, I know you can probably get spots. And here's the thing: I'm thinking though, that has to be a revenue generator, because really, you are paying a ton of money for fried chicken and strawberry shortcake. I mean, of course, it's got a lot of entertainers and so forth, but I mean, that's got to be one of their biggest like revenue generators. It has to be. It's hard to get to though.
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe they're making it, you know, I can see where they might refurbish the space so that maybe because I know that space has sort of some sight lines that are not maybe the best. So I can see maybe how they might see about refurbishing the space to make it so that it would be better to see overall, so they could then charge more money for people to make. If you've got a better view, you can, you know, make more money off people. So I could maybe see that happening, but I just don't see them closing Hoop-Dee-Doo Review. You know.
Yeah.
I again, stranger things have happened, but I just don't see that's what's going on.
All right, let's head to another topic. And Ricky, maybe you can give us some information on this one. So, you know, we have these Fantasyland over the past couple of years have had these early mornings where you can have a quick meal at Pinocchio's Village House and ride some of the attractions like Seven Dwarfs, Peter Pan, I think Winnie the Pooh. They have expanded this over to the studios, and I see this as a win, because again, it's one of those things that you don't have to participate in this. You know, it's totally something that's not going to, if you don't do it, it's not going to affect you one iota during your vacation, but it gives you an opportunity to see some of the more popular attractions at an additional cost, but kind of with a VIP experience feel to it. So Ricky, walk us through what's being offered, and then I'm going to kind of ask Pam, you know, do we think this is something they could walk out to all four parks and make it, you know, because it doesn't seem like it's that hard to do.
Well, first of all, I will say that I am surprised they walked it out here first at Disney's Hollywood Studios versus maybe walking it out at Pandora. I think that is the place that is ripe for this, because, you know, Pandora did used to serve breakfast in Satuli Canteen. So it would be super easy to bring that kind of breakfast idea back, as well as have, you know, the Pandora attractions open early for guests. So I can see it heading there next very easily. That's my 2 cents. But anyway, as far as what it is guests can be the first to enter Disney's Hollywood Studios for the day and ride popular Toy Story Land attractions with little to no wait. Well, mostly no wait. Slinky Dog Dash, Alien Swirling Saucers, and Toy Story Mania. Plus, you'll have the chance to meet Buzz, Woody, and Jessie. And then once you are done riding all the rides, you can go have a continental breakfast with yogurt, fruit, pastries, and assorted cereals, as well as a main dish like avocado toast or fried chicken served with a cronut. Wow, that seems like a heart attack.
But you wash it down with the avocado stuff. That's good for you. You know, it's like guacamole.
No, you're not washing it down with avocado toast. it's available on Mondays and Wednesdays from 7:30 in the morning until 8:45 in the morning. And the cost is what gets me on this.
You're about to choke.
I'm about to choke on the cost, man. I'm telling you.
God, we all might choke.
It is $79 per adult. I'm telling you. Oh my goodness. $79 per adult. And it's $69 per child. So that is a lot of money when you think about it, though. I mean, again, if that's something you want to spend your money on, that is perfectly fine. But I mean, that's like almost the cost of, if you think about it, it's almost the cost of like a Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party ticket, on the grand scheme of things. Now, granted, you're not getting food at Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. You have to pay for that. But I think that and what they're offering during the party is way more, that you get way more for that than you get at the Toy Story breakfast. But that's just me. So, or the Toy Story Land early morning and then the breakfast. But again, if that's how you want to spend your money, more power to you. I could just think of other ways to spend it a little bit better, but that's just me.
But we always say time is money on a Disney vacation.
Absolutely, 100%.
Totally, you can just knock out Toy Story.
And you knock out Toy Story Land and you get breakfast out of the deal. So when you think of it that way, I mean, it's really not that bad. But when you look at it dollars and cents wise, comparatively speaking,
you're only going to be able to get one of the Toy Story Land attractions as your Fast Pass Plus. Right. So if you're considering that you can do 3 in there, not have to use your Fast Pass for that, because you're going to have to wait in line. If you're one of those people who want to experience Hollywood Studios and you don't want to spend 2 of your Fast Pass Plus days during your vacation in Hollywood Studios, you're going to have to wait in line. And there is not a short line in this,
That's
the
true.
3.
That's true.
So you're waiting in line for 2 of them. So
unless you do it at the end of the night, maybe. Yeah.
But
you're taking a chance.
Yeah, you are. You really are. So it might not be a whatever. The early morning magic things are the ones that you hear great feedback on. People love them. They really, truly do. Think about what an average buffet meal at Disney World costs. Take that right off the top of what you're paying. In addition, you get the extra time. It may, for people who want that, it may not be a bad thing. But the great news is you don't have to do it. You can come up with other plans if you want to do that. So
that is true. And I will say, you mentioned the Halloween party, Ricky. One of our listeners tweeted me the other night. He had left. Well, it was the next morning, so he went to the Halloween party the night before. They had their luggage scale back in the hotel room. 19 pounds of candy.
Oh my goodness.
19.
That's a lot of candy. That is a lot of candy. I hope that they flew a Southwest and had free luggage. So
right.
The bowling alley, 16 pounds. That thing is heavy.
Holy cow.
Pounds of candy. Well done.
That is heavy.
Well done. Yes. All right. So, Ricky, do you have any other news items you want to throw in? Because you're always got your pulse on the news, like stuff that we haven't talked about and just kind of want to address. I have a couple of things, but I want to give you an opportunity to throw in some things if you wanted.
So I think that, kind of one of the, and this is this is really getting to a hot button topic, and it's more for Disneyland, obviously, than Walt Disney World. But we have information about Oga's Cantina, which is a new lounge that will be serving guests in 2019 in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. It's going to be run by an alien proprietor named Oga Garara. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, nor do I really care?
Well, Dennis in our chat knows, but other than Dennis, I think we're good.
Got it. Okay. And it will adhere to a strict code of conduct that tries to keep its unruly patrons in check. And patrons of the cantina come from across the galaxy to sample famous concoctions created with exotic ingredients using otherworldly methods. I'm going to think that, dry ice is involved. Served in unique vessels. I'm going to think people are going to buy a lot of souvenir glasses with their blue milk. Anyway, there's going to be choices for kids, as well as, this is the word that Disney's using, libations for adults. That means alcohol. The cantina will make for a great stop, and music is going to be courtesy of RX-24, who is the famous Star Speeder pilot from the first Star Wars, Star Tours version. It's going to be Captain Rex. So I think this is more of a hot button topic for Disneyland because this is officially the first time that Disney is going to be serving alcohol at Disneyland. So I know that's a hot button topic for everybody.
That's it. The thing is, like, I'm a traditionalist, and I wish that the Magic Kingdom and Disneyland were dry parks. But I understand, like, Club 33's had alcohol. I mean, I get that, but I mean, you can't fight it. You know what I'm saying? It's going to happen. It's revenue. It's appealing to what guests want. So it is what it is. I'm excited. I just don't want to get my arm chopped off when I'm at the cantina. Like, I don't want to be popping out of a lightsaber and just whacking off my arm.
I'm really curious as to what they're going to do as far, how far this shtick of everything is going to go and how long it's going to last for too, because sometimes with Disney, people don't get into it as much as we've seen with like 50s primetime and how they've cut things down at 50s. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how people play up with it, because obviously it is Star Wars, and Star Wars has, they are wanting to put you into this whole galaxy, obviously, of Galaxy's Edge. So it'll be very interesting to see how things progress as far as the character interactions go, the interactions with guests go. That's the part that really intrigues me the most about all of this. I okay, whatever, they're bringing alcohol, I love it or hate it, that's your own opinion, but I am really curious to see how they're going to incorporate this story, that's into the park as we move forward. The first year, the second year, the third year, is all great, but I'm really curious to see how it's going to be incorporated as we move forward too. So, that's very interesting to me.
So when I read about this, Pam, I was thinking about Gaston's Tavern. When it opened initially, right after the opening, were there not supposed to be like characters in there that kind of interacted with you? I mean, it's a super small space, which wouldn't have lent itself to this lasting, but I thought that at some point there was supposed to be like, Gaston would be in there and you'd be kind of talking with him or interacting with some characters from, that might have.
I don't remember them saying that. Gaston is outside at the fountain. He actually meets in the shade now, but you'll still find him around the fountain at different times doing that. But I don't remember them saying that he would be there greeting guests. I think there's always a lot of speculation about what's going to happen leading up to something like this. But I think if anything that we've seen, like, the sky hasn't fallen since they started serving alcohol in the Magic Kingdom. In fact, they rolled it out to other locations in the past year. And I can't say that I've seen people, like, the concerns that people had leading up to this, I haven't seen those manifest themselves, not in the Magic Kingdom anyway. So I don't know. I mean, again, I'll just trust that the company has the best interest of their patrons and the park in mind, and, hope that if that turns out not to be the case, then they'll make changes, which they inevitably do. So
this is true.
I do hope with this, though, that they go, because to me, Galaxy's Edge is, I think the goal is to kind of go next level character interaction, immersive experience. So I think you do have to have walk around characters that are akin to Adventurers Club, like you're
right.
kind of like are they cast members? Are they characters, or are they just really big Disney fans or Star Wars fans?
Right.
I want that, like, where I'm not 100% sure, like, are they playing a role or are they a guest? Like,
but
what?
Here's the thing that I kind of worry about. They kind of did this with the Jawas and Launch Bay. The Jawas were out for a while. They traded with guests, which was a really cool thing that they did. But then they started getting bogged down with guests just wanting to take pictures with them all the time, and so then they went away. So that's kind of I don't want to say are the guests going to ruin it, but you know what I'm saying? Like, is it going to get too much so that they're going to have to scale back with some of this stuff?
There was complaints from some guests on they didn't want to trade with me, or I traded and I didn't like what I got.
That's true. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's almost like you don't want to say that guests ruined it, but at the same time,
they might have ruined it.
I will say that I traded with the Jawa one time and I got hosed. I'm just saying, but I mean, that's how.
But I mean, that's the
but
kind
did
of.
Did you go to guest services and demand? Right. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, and
that's about moving forward though with Galaxy's Edge is how much is going to get pared back because of guest feedback like that of my vacation is ruined. Right. They didn't trade with me.
Yeah. So like Disney wasn't able to say, well, the Jawa didn't like the clothes you were wearing, sir, and then just be like, that's the end of it. I mean, the Jawas they had to get on their sand animal.
So but you know, the person that gets, because they say that the if you do a bad job in the you know, in the Millennium Falcon, you know, you'll get judged harshly for other things. Then are people going to get, you know, like you said,
that rumor is somebody going to get murdered if you wait 3 hours and you get put in with a different family and some kid doesn't do their job and your ride is 30 seconds instead of 3 minutes. That is, they will just need to have a jail at the end of that queue.
Well, but what I mean is like, is that, you know, will there then be, like Pam was said, will there be complaints of my vacation is ruined because you know, they said I did a bad job and blah, blah, blah. So I think it's going to be, I really think it's going to be a very thin line that Disney's going to have to walk through. I mean, I get the excitement and the hype to really make this a place that people can live, that it's a living, breathing place. But you do have the expectation of some people who are just like, my vacation is ruined because this. So I do hope that, I know that they're going to toe that line very carefully, but they're going to have to.
I kind of feel bad for Disney because, you know, like it's one of those things, like we can't have nice things. Like Disney wants to give us the nice things, but they know the reality of it is exactly what you're just saying, is that when you try to take it to that next level experience, the society can be so easily offended or disappointed nowadays that it's such a challenge. And I'm one of those people that I don't complain when I go to a Disney park. It is what it is. What I make of it is what I make of it. I have a good time every time because I just, you know, I'm very blessed to be there, and I take what I get. And I know you can't do that with everything. Sometimes the expectation, you have to have a conversation with things. I mean, we do that at times too. I don't know, Pam, we're running low on time, but I mean, this is one of those things that I hope that Disney doesn't just, you know, like not take the chance. I hope that we do have the chance. I know that we can't have everything, but I mean, how would you feel like if they go in with the Millennium Falcon, where it is kind of a fluid experience, where if you don't do your role, kind of like Mission Space, like Jim Hill's talking about, where, you know, like if you go in, because Mission Space
really matter.
Like you got to push this button, nothing happens if you don't. But if on the Millennium Falcon you don't play your role and your ride ends 45 seconds in, where it could be a 3-minute attraction, I mean, there's going to be fights. I mean, but that's kind of cool in a way too. But I mean, the fights aren't cool, but it's cool that you have some kind of control of your experience. What are your thoughts on that? Because I mean, we could go on this all day, but what do you think?
It's very challenging in our society to have, especially if you're an entertainment company, right? To have there be a natural consequence for different guest behavior, right? Even in the real world, there are more natural consequences that come into play, even though we've kind of tried to scale those back a little bit. But to have an entertainment company put guests in a position where if you don't do X, then you don't get Y.
Right.
Is going to be very challenging.
Especially an entertainment company who usually tries to give you XYZ plus, you know, like that's going to be, yeah. And it's known for giving you XYZ plus.
There aren't a lot of people who are going to be ready for that. No. And you see it even in guest response. I mean, it's very interesting how few people are content to take almost no responsibility for their happiness during the vacation. And I'm not meaning that in a critical way, although it absolutely sounds overly critical. But let's just, there are so many instances where I hear from people that were like, oh my gosh, I got to my room and my air conditioning wasn't working right. And I called and I demanded that they not only come and fix it, but then X, Y, or Z, right? Like, why isn't it just enough that they showed up within 15 minutes, fixed the air conditioning, and got you all going on? Like, what did you lose in this transaction but to ask for compensation in that space? And I'm not saying that Disney is perfect, and there aren't absolutely times when a guest should be compensated for something bad that happened during their vacation that absolutely was in their control. But I'm just using that as an example to maybe as a society, we could all show a little grace in this space. If something goes wrong, and you let somebody know in a nice way, and they come and fix it for you, we could all just choose to be like, awesome. Yeah. I identified a problem. I communicated it to you. You came and fixed it for me, and it was all good. And that would be a form of compensation, is that I used to have this and now I don't. But, I mean, that's absolutely me being like pie in the sky. But for something like this to work, it's almost as if Disney would need to provide you with a little contract. By entering Star Wars Land, you agree to the following terms and conditions and acknowledge that you may not be provided with every possible scenario that you want. Your time in the Millennium Falcon may be cut short because of the actions of another. I mean, we'll legalese this all up, but that won't happen either. So,
No.
I mean, it's an interesting conversation to have. I'm absolutely glad I am not in Disney's shoes because there's no right.
Yes,
There's no
amen.
right answer to this question.
Amen. Yes.
Either it's not realistic enough or it's too realistic.
Right. There's no happy medium. No.
I mean, it's so interesting though, because like if I go in, and like I'm the one who screws up on the Millennium Falcon, and like Pam and Ricky have been waiting in line with me for for 3 hours, and God,
I will murder you. It's fine.
I forgot to drive into hyperspace because my leg was itching, or I got a Charlie horse. I mean,
Mike locked up
again. Yes.
I mean, the thing is, like, while you're waiting in line this whole time, like, people are going to be stressed out because like dads are going to be like to their daughters, like I'd be on Mallory, like, look, dude, you got to focus. Like, we cannot. if the Force tells you to do something, I mean, do it now. Don't wait 2 seconds, man. If the Force moves you better hit that hyperdrive.
I'm like going to be counting people, and I'm like, okay, I'm far enough away from Rom, and I won't be impacted if he locks up.
I'm not going to be impacted. It's fine. It's all good. Good. I'm with Pam. I don't have to worry about it. I know we're going to push
stuff's going to get done, and it's going to be magical.
It's going to be freaking magical. Yes.
Freaking
Hashtag freaking magical.
That's where we're going to cut everybody loose for the weekend. But it's been a fun weekend. Really, I've missed us all three together. Hope everybody has, missed kind of the fun that we have here talking about Disney topics. It's just, this is
that got deep at the end. I'm telling you, I didn't mean for it to, but that got deep.
We spoke the truth. We spoke for the trees. We're the Lawrence. Anyway, we're out of here. So today's episode brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. The next time you're headed to a Disney destination, work with the best. Again, they don't handle trophies well, but they are a platinum earmarked agency. So check them out today. They're over at the magicforless.com. Shout out to Kelsey. It wasn't your fault. Also don't forget sports show with our Amazon affiliate link, beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. Thank you so much. And give us a follow on the social media. We're on Instagram and Twitter at @BeOurGuestPod and at @BeOurGuestMike. And drop by the Facebook group at facebook.com/BeOurGuestPodcast. All right, well, that's going to do it until Monday, where we'll be back with another great trip report to take you down to Walt Disney World. So for Pam and Ricky, I'm Mike, wishing you a great weekend. Until we see you again, MIZ, and have a great weekend. See you real soon. All right, that was fun. That was a good one. I wanted to talk about this stuff because I knew it'd be fun. Because we haven't done a show in so long. We had a lot of stuff we could talk about. Thanks, Facebook, for all the tips.
We got so deep.
That's fun.
I know.
Yes.
All right, time to edit Taco Bell.
Oh no, I'm not having Taco Bell. I'm gonna have chicken that I made. Yeah, it's gonna be delicious.
I get the wrong name. I put 1178. We're not 1178. We're on 1378.
We are in 13s.
Yes. An old show. All right. Well, you guys.
Awesome.
We'll talk ABD next Friday.
Okay. Yay. Okay. Also, just a reminder, I'm saying this now. I leave for my cruise on the 19th of September, which is 2 weeks for. Oh my God. It's 2 weeks from tomorrow.
It's a Wednesday that you leave on?
Yeah. Well, the cruise leaves on the 20th, but yeah, I will be leaving town on the 19th. So.
All right.
And I'm gone for 2 weeks in October.
Okay. So
we're going to have fun. Yeah.
Put these dates in the Google Doc, and then we'll figure out like a time, like in the Google Doc. We can just put like times where we could all get together and maybe like squeeze out some shows.
All
right. Sounds good.
All
right. You guys have a good one. Hope you guys feel
You guys too. Bye. All right. Okay. Bye.